Hello and welcome to Critical Idiots. In this episode, we spill our beans on the Lighthouse.
What?
Holy shit.
What?
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 What? What? Ladies and gentlemen, Playboy Carter.
How long have we been on this rock? 5 weeks? 2 days? Help me to recollect.
No, this is my film of the year.
Yeah. I would agree that was my film of the year.
Yeah.
Film
Wow.
Probably a few.
These are my favorite performances of the year. Or the best direction I saw a year. It's probably some. The score was light in places, but it was very effective.
Sound design was great.
The script was amazing. But the cinematography, this film looked gorgeous.
What made your last keeper leave? He believed that there was some enchantment in the light. Went mad, he did. Tall tales. What?
So it's set at the turn of the 20th century in New England, off the coast of New England. It's a bit of a character study following two lighthouse keepers.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe have been sent to work on the island as lighthouse keepers.
And it follows their initial 4-week tenure at the lighthouse.
They've divided the labour that Robert Pattinson does all the menial tasks. He's wheelbarrowing, he's getting rid of the shit, he's doing the crab fishing, all that kind of stuff, cleaning the floorboards and stuff. And all Willem Dafoe does is man the light. Things go crazy.
Well, so the thing with Robert Egg is that, and I know just because I'm a budding fan now, that he loves telling fairy tales.
And New England fairy tales,
It feels
especially.
like more like almost folklore. And
Yeah.
It's more of a mythos. It's more like a myth.
To say with The Witch, I caught that when it first came out. It's deeply unsettling, and it wasn't a perfect film for me. But it totally caught my attention, and he put him on my list.
Is it
called
Lighthouse?
And I think
The Witch.
Yeah, the Witch. And I think this follow-up, there's sometimes a bit of dropping quality of someone's second film sometimes, but I think this follow-up was so strong.
The reason I kind of I liked the Witch a lot is I don't find horror movies scary at all. So I'm really more interested if it has a good story or if it's done in a unique way or something like that.
This feels a lot more like classic horror, Edgar Allan Poe sort of thing.
Yeah, it feels very
I think they
20s.
There's even some very small H.P. Lovecraftian sort of elements in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's
Yeah.
fully, but I think that's the backbone of a lot of the horror. to me.
Yeah, a lot of cosmic horror elements.
Yeah, and how homoerotic is this film?
Oh, yeah.
And even just how phallic the lighthouse itself is.
Yeah.
One thing that should be addressed, I guess, is I feel like the movie might feel like a lot of people wouldn't be able to connect to it, but I think if you've had a boss or an abusive dad or been in a situation,
Any authority figure,
like a toxic relationship,
Any
or
homoerotic
any kind of
Any
homoerotic
toxic
thing when you're getting
homoerotic.
way too drunk with your buddies. There's so many situations you can relate to while you're watching the movie, and it's kind of crazy.
I can see Willem Dafoe's character as
Yeah.
my old boss from the restaurant.
That's a great thing about this movie too, is I love how ambiguous it is.
Yeah.
I love films that give you 2 + 2 instead of 4.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big thing why I think it's so rewatchable. Like
Yeah.
everything, you can kind of interpret it differently and then feel differently for the characters and their reactions.
Yeah, and I feel like it's I know some people, a lot of contemporary viewers might not have much of a tolerance for the style of the movie, black and white 4x3 period dialogue.
But if you push through it,
Yeah.
and me being the guy to say, I'm the Hollywood guy, watch it.
Please give it a chance.
It's so good, dude.
Now look here. I ain't never intended to be no housewife nor slave in taking this job. And it ain't right. These lodgings is more ramshackle than any shanty boys camp I ever seen. The Queen of England's old fancy housekeeper couldn't even done no better than what I done. Because I tell you, I scrubbed this here place twice over.
And I say you did nothing of the sort.
Yeah,
Can we talk about the performances?
Yes, absolutely.
And the snubs.
But every time Willem Dafoe said anything, I had a big smile on my face.
Yeah.
That's all I can say, really.
You can really enjoy it.
His teeth were amazing.
Yeah.
What they did to his teeth, they look more rounded
punching
and
him in the
nautical.
face.
And I was talking to these guys after the screening. I was like, "Do you see the amazing teeth work they did?" And they're like, "That's just Willem Dafoe's teeth, dude." And he's been saying in every interview, he's like, "Those aren't my teeth."
And almost all these guys had funky teeth. Now,
Perfect.
my teeth aren't perfect, but I knew I needed something else. So I had some fake teeth so I could have big gaps in them, even bigger than I had.
Well, I thought where the strength for Pattinson's character, at least for me, is that I was totally on his side.
Yeah.
So it was like Willem Dafoe was like amazing, and like his performance was so like it could be so caricature and wooden, and he made it convincing, which is really miraculous.
The first thing
could come off somehow. I mean, obviously it doesn't come off necessarily realistic, but
no, that's what I mean.
It's believable.
Yeah.
It's somehow.
It's really like it's very. It's definitely like Moby Dick inspired. Like, they're like definitely going for that Captain Ahab larger than life kind of like hark the Sea of Triton kind of thing.
And also in terms. Oh wait, no. Okay.
But like, so even though that was so powerful with Robert Pattinson, I just always wanted him to get ahead. Like
it was
I don't know.
It was interesting. The first thing we really see him do when he gets into the lighthouse is try and open up a locked drawer. You know, as if to steal something or
I thought he was just like prying around. Yeah, I didn't realize he was doing that.
But he's trying to open something somewhere he shouldn't be. But like you don't really just gloss by it. He's such a pretty boy. He's so likable.
I was just into the shot. I liked the composition and being in the room and stuff. I was like, it's such an art house thing to do. Just let us be in the room for 5 minutes.
His performance,
I know.
Really sold all that.
I feel like naturally on first viewing though, you've got to go with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
But then you start to see more of Thomas's side.
I mean, I always had like.
As soon as gaslighting's brought out, I'm against the character.
Did you relate with him?
I like his character more, but I don't think he's right. I'm on Robert Pattinson's side.
I think he's just trying to do his best to just keep the work done.
Well,
I don't think so.
He's not doing anything.
I'll drop you down a few feet.
Easy.
Never been in better hands. Easy! Quit your flailing, lad! I ain't! You're! Keep still! I am!
You could definitely argue that the movie's from Robert Pattinson's perspective, so obviously that's going to spin. He's the protagonist.
But I feel like someone could also relate to Willem Dafoe's character if they've had issues with, authority or like personal issues of being in a position of authority. Or alcohol abuse or issues like that. They could actually relate to the character.
In the bathroom, after like little like wooden carvings of mermaids. And dude, get to work.
Actually,
it's his first week. He should,
I'm not sure if that's a spoiler, but you do see Willem Dafoe at the lighthouse, and Robert Pattinson's
I think he's just
no,
he's just naked, isn't he?
You see some weird movements.
You're talking about the
and then.
Oh yeah,
I thought he was just naked.
No, I'm talking about when he's looking up and that's in the
glue.
Oh, you get the drop.
And then you see the tentacle.
Yeah. We should definitely talk about. I mean, we talked last week about.
Well, no, could we touch on that?
Was that tentacle juice or was that?
It was
interpretation.
You can hear very clearly Willem Dafoe's moaning.
Yeah, but what if he's like a squid?
See, I think on the first watch, I thought it was. And then on second and third, I think it's tentacle juice.
I really think
tentacle juice is metaphor for.
It's not. It is
Con juice is metaphor for squid juice.
A big old glove. There are so many ways.
I don't think it's coming from his.
It's definitely sexual.
It's coming from his long, dripping tentacles.
That's
not
his.
His long.
That's what I mean.
I think maybe that's a sort of like traumatic experience for Robert Pattinson, so he's trying to imagine it being a tentacle.
Well, I think a lot of scenes in this.
I can see that.
So yeah.
I just believe it's all of it.
It's all in Robert Pattinson's head.
No, I really could be in Robert Pattinson's head. I could feel that's a real.
The first 4 weeks. Before we touch
it's an octopus off or something. It's just dripping down. Tentacles. It's
Willem Dafoe's mermaid, and she's just really bubbling up, and like sea foam. Just created in the beach, so it's dripping down. Robert Pattinson's like, ugh.
When I was watching the mermaid scene, I was just being like, wow, I can't believe they did this for real. Wow, this is so well done.
Where did they get that mermaid?
Yeah, wow. That's what it looked like, though.
Yeah.
That's what a mermaid looks like.
Yeah.
That's
what the fish fish scaly.
Yeah, that's what I wanted in The Shape of Water. I wanted like a fish. And I feel like I got what I wanted here.
Exactly, you got it for 5 seconds in this.
Yeah, it's all you need.
No, not even. It's like a.
There's a few shots going all over the place.
Down.
Yeah. But I feel like I remember every detail.
Yeah, I paused it.
That's one of the scenes. That was one of the scenes where I had to look away because me being scared and stuff. But I looked back for like that one frame. I could see a fish.
That's the only frame you need.
So I'm glad I got a view of that.
Yeah.
So I can understand what you guys are talking about, not because I like it. Not because I like it.
It's things like that I love in my movies, though. There's these odd little scenes that stay with you.
It's just really creepy and
mermaid.
And then
I'm so glad I can say that.
And then I love the gills also on the side of her body. It just felt so
mermaid streak.
Oh, that freaked the hell out of me. She looked
I didn't
really
find anything like scary.
I just
that was the one thing that I found scary.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like, just the intensity of like, dude, she played you for a fool. She's a siren.
So I have something to say about that, but we'll get into it.
I do love the touch.
Let's talk about some sirens.
I do love
about sirens.
I do love the touch with the siren. That I didn't even notice it the first time, but it's one of the things that
it just constantly played in the background.
Well, yeah, but Thomas mentions he's like, you're not going crazy like my last guy, are you? Like hearing sirens all the time, and I didn't even pick that up.
Oh my god, yes!
Going crazy.
Yes, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
And also, I know also that scream also sounds so much like the seagull. It's a very seagull-y shriek.
Yeah. Oh, the mermaid one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's very...
Are you talking about the siren?
I was going to say dolphin sort of thing.
Wait.
Yeah.
Like a dolphin in pain.
Oh, when I was talking about the siren, I meant like, I was talking about the Greek sirens, like, the sirens
the folk
of the
one.
sea, like the original...
Yeah, from the Odyssey,
context of the world.
Yeah, I didn't actually think about that, and that adds a lot to it. The siren and the mermaid, and that makes a deeper connection between the two. Yeah,
siren and an audio siren.
Didn't think of that. Wow, that's great.
It's just so layered.
Very masculine movie.
Yeah, very much.
It's got like that kind of like male element of like when you're in the grind or when you're like a laborer or you're in a regime. You kind of like sometimes can use sexuality as a crutch to obsess over or at least give your mind something to kind of go towards. And so that kind of, I don't know.
Well, they clearly become depraved.
Yeah.
But they're also starved of all interaction.
Yeah, and also for men, they can't talk about their feelings as much. So that's a big element in it.
Yeah.
Toxic masculinity.
I heard someone say that for the Lighthouse, it wasn't as much toxic masculinity. What they were interpreting as was performative masculinity. So it's like they were like performing being men and stuff, but really they're quite vulnerable and they need each other. And like there's a lot of elements like that. I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah. I don't know if you guys would make of that.
Especially in like the come down areas, like after they've had way too much to drink. Yeah. They both feel very, very vulnerable. They're just sitting on the bed, having a hard time.
And that's like their kind of natural state is of what they kind of like need from each other. I suppose.
I can't do it. I can't. Shut up your own rag box. I trust you. No. I trust you, Tom. You trust me? No, I don't trust you at all.
If you, I think we've already crossed the line a bit, but if you want to see what we gave the film,
that was off again.
Doesn't matter because I've talked this one. Yeah, we'll do it in a sec. If you want to see our scores at the end, we're going to talk about spoilers now, so skip to the time code on the screen.
There's one cast member we forgot to mention. This is that goddamn seagull.
Yes, the seagull.
There were 5 of them. They were trained seagulls that they got for this. Robert Eggers is the best.
Well, he's not just a seagull. He is the ex-tenant of the Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yep.
And that seagull, he did
bad luck to kill goal.
Was he trying to warn?
Well, all the bad stuff potentially started.
Potentially, it definitely did.
It
It
started.
changed.
Yeah.
Oh no! All the stuff, him falling off the thing, that wasn't bad.
Like I said, why would you, how do you think you're
was
gonna
an
help
accident.
anybody by like being a seagull and
Yeah. You don't know if the seagull's like trying to warn him.
I got the impression
Or
that
if
the
he's
seagull's
just
being
an
a dick.
arsehole.
Yeah.
But I think on the second watch, I think the seagull was trying to warn him. I do. Not since the Avengers has such a beatdown been seen on screen.
wouldn't expect that would hold.
Yeah.
That one long take. Just savage beating. Holy crap.
I love that scene.
That being in black and white probably definitely helped that be a lot more viewable.
And actually, that was a real seagull.
That's why they needed 5 of them.
Yeah.
They only had 5 chances.
Yeah, they only have 5 takes to kill that seagull.
And they had to also get rid of the seagull's eye.
There was a take where the seagull flew away.
The first two, after they took out the eye, it wasn't very good on camera. It didn't do what they wanted on camera. So
Yeah, he was freaking out.
biased and. But the other 3 after they were okay.
They were good.
They learned from the first 2.
The first 2 are the ones they used.
Yeah. Lucky they got
Fool
the
me
last
twice,
time.
you know.
Shame on
You fool me thrice, shame on me.
What is it? Robert Pattinson killing a gull to various songs.
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge page right now.
Yeah.
And it came out before the movie. Anybody saw the light.
Well, thank God for that scene. We're blowing up.
It's canon. It's canon.
But one of the the artist, the VFX artists, actually commented on the page, told them like how it was all done. It was
That's sick. How was it done?
obviously a fake bird, but there wasn't actually any blood to come
all
out of
CG.
it. Yeah, that's all CG, all on the thing,
right.
all CG.
When he kills the goal, and you just like, you don't really care about the goal itself, but you're like, you shouldn't have done that. This is gonna be bad.
You've been warned.
Yeah.
Straight up told you at the
Bad
beginning.
luck, just kill a seabird.
Why would you do that?
And then the camera pans straight up the lighthouse to find the wind changing direction.
Yeah.
Just that almost immediate second, and you're just like, oh no, here we go.
Well, if that's not biblical, I don't
So
know.
really, doesn't Robert Pattinson have? He's really the bad guy in this film.
Well, he curses them on the island.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would say they're both.
I feel like he was
Willem Dafoe's not
agitated in this
innocent.
situation, though. Like, that bird was being a...
The bird was just standing there.
Yeah, but if I came up to you and
Yeah,
I
it was
saw you
pecking
doing
him when
that,
he was down, when he fell.
I mean,
He was like
when
ripping
the
his
sun helped
jeans.
him
He was ripping his jeans open.
So?
Keeping him up at night, pecking on the window.
Yeah, but you know better than
The
a
bird's
bird.
dead.
Yeah, after they've been getting drunk and they've been getting close, and there's a moment where Willem Dafoe has like a little kiss almost, and Rob Pattinson gets away, and they're all getting rambunctious. Thomas comforts Winslow, and he's holding him, and then Winslow spills his beans and tells him about his past, where he may have killed his old foreman at work, and
taking his life, right?
but it's implied. You're not sure if
when
it
he
did
was
happen or not.
when he was working at the lumberjack.
Yeah. Which
that's
his foreman, his boss, and he's taken his life and his name.
Yeah.
Tell me, what's a timberman want with being a wiki?
Just looking to earn a living, just like any man. Starting new.
On the run.
Does this count as a horror? No.
I wouldn't say so at all.
There's horror elements, but
Yeah.
I'd say more psychological thriller comedy.
I would say it is it's horror in the most classic sense. It's not like
I think there's horror elements.
Maybe
but it's definitely not
maybe more
horror.
fantasy
I would say
than
period
horror
drama.
than-
before
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
else.
I would say like it's a genre film.
Yeah.
It's
Period
not,
drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everywhere
it's
I
definitely
look,
a genre film.
everywhere I look, they say it's a horror film. I'm like, that's not right. I mean,
No.
yes, there are. I agree, there are horror elements.
No, it's
But
because
definitely-
A24 keep pushing their films as horror films and they falsely market their films so more people see
Why
it.
would you argue that it's not a horror film?
Because
Do you think it definitely is all in his head?
no.
So there's possibly like giant squid monsters.
Yeah,
But I
it's
thought that was
trying
more
to-
psychological
yeah.
as well. It didn't really feel any real
That's
horror.
the horror element.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of
elements,
psychological thrillers I love that people make the arguments for all the time that they're horror films.
Didn't somebody
like
just-
Silence of the Lambs to me isn't a horror film; it's a psychological thriller.
What about like The Raven?
The Raven?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Nevermore. Like that's definitely a horror tale, wouldn't you argue?
I think that's like a fairy tale.
No, I think that you'll
That's a
find
folk
it's like
tale,
a horror.
yeah.
It's a horror
The Raven,
story.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually, speaking of
But the
I feel-
Raven, you know for sure that Raven's fucking evil.
How? Sort
Yeah.
of like the seagull that's come back.
No, but
like
the
a dead
seagull
person.
could be.
seagull
The
doesn't-
seagull could
doesn't
be
seem
trying to
evil.
warn him. Like Chris was making
he
that
could
joke
be-
while we were
he could
watching
be
it.
just a
Like
dick.
I've come to warn you, Winslow.
run! You must run! Haste!
Run, make haste, Winslow.
He could know it all. He could also be the opposite.
Yeah, it could, but exactly, you don't know. And
This
I feel
is
like
a
a horror
psychological
film.
character study before
And
it's a
I
horror
think-
film.
I completely
And
agree.
I
Yeah.
think that's why it becomes
That's why
a
it's-
horror. That's where the
No,
horror comes
it was-
from.
It's a black comedy before it's a horror.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe
Charles,
actually,
preach, Charles.
I'm all forward to like genre switching. So it
Yeah.
starts off as a black comedy, but it does end as a horror. And I think we're in spoilers
We
now.
can't have both ways, Daniel. You can't settle this.
Psychological thriller. Let's put it to a vote.
Especially at the end where he's looking into the light and just laughing, but it's not really laughing. It's
It's
a
not
it's a
screaming.
distorted scream.
Yeah.
And I find
sounds like a black comedy to me.
Why don't you spill your beans? Why don't you spill your beans?
I think the light's one of the biggest connections with it being the myth of Prometheus, though, because it's like, all knowledge and all of that hitting you at once, and you just can't handle it.
The light and the way it's executed for me really solidifies my enjoyment of this movie because talking about horror elements, it's if we're gonna go subgenre, it's a cosmic horror. It's very Lovecraftian, as we were saying. Like it's bigger than Winslow's ready for in my mind. That I've seen
Overwhelms him.
He sees the truth. He sees through time and space and all of eternity.
Like he's just not ready for it yet. Because if you were to side with Willem Dafoe, like you, he does say to him many parts in the film, you're just not ready for it yet, lad. You'll be ready one day. You'll be a good, and he could just be lying to him, which
he could, but I don't know. It just feels
you
genuine.
believe him then.
Yeah, I don't know why. I
No,
just
I
believe
think
him.
he's stringing him along.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah, but then
I think,
you can also make the connection because Willem Dafoe's character has the leg that's broken, and when Robert Pattinson falls from the lighthouse, he breaks his leg. And
they're
he
the same
falls
person.
down, and it's creating that connection that it could be the same person. It's supposed to be interpreted how you want.
Yeah.
So the speech that Willem Dafoe gives to Robert Pattinson after Robert Pattinson admits drunkenly that he's not a fan of Willem Dafoe's cooking, Willem Dafoe goes up to a giant monologue, which is amazing. We touched on the visuals before, but what the contents of that monologue actually. He explains exactly what's about to happen in the rest of the movie. He curses Winslow to the T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, he speaks about seagulls, birds picking out his eyes and innards, and
Oh, really?
That's some foreshadowing, actually. All right.
Slime, to choke ye, engorging your organs till ye turn blue and bloated with bilge and brine and can scream no more. Only when he, crowned in cockle shells, with slithering tentacle tail and steaming beard, take up his fell befinned arm. His coral tongue trident screeches banshee-like in the tempest and plunges right through your gullet, bursting ye, a bulging bladder no more, but a blasted bloody film now, a nothing for the harpies and the souls of dead sailors to pick and claw and feed upon, only to be lapped up and swallowed by the infinite waters of the dread Emperor himself.
Okay, guys, let's go into final thoughts.
Yeah.
I thought this was a unexpectedly fantastic movie for me. I was walking into the cinema going, I was looking at the poster like, Brodie, what the have you gotten me into? It's another one of your goddamn horror movies that I can't stand. But that it was so unexpected, so hilarious at times, and poignant, I guess. Poignant, yeah. And the acting was just phenomenal. Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson really brought their A game, and so I'm gonna give it a Fellini. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Should say 8.5.
8.5. 8.5.
No, I really liked the art house. I was.
The art house. I like it. The art house.
Are you saying the art house because we watched The General in the art house?
No. I was hoping for an instant classic, and I went into the movie with a lot of hype. And the first time I saw it, I really loved it. The second time, I was maybe a little bit down. No, not that I thought it was worse or anything like that. Just like I would like to watch it. I would like to watch it a few more times, and I'd like to watch it when it's sort of settled a little bit and there hasn't been all of everyone talking about it. But I would still go with a 9 for it. Thought the performances were great. I really like the story. I love those kinds of psychological horrors. If you want to call it a horror, there's a lot of movies it reminded me of, and I feel like it fits really snugly in all those movies I love.
Great. This is my favorite film of 2019. I thought this was a powerhouse in all directions, from directorial, efforts to the cast, just delivering bombshell performances. Every single shot in this film I love. I really can't fault it anywhere. It gave me exactly what I want when I go to the movies. It transported me to a time I know nothing about. It had so much heart, and I could tell this was a passion project through and through. It clearly wasn't something just done for the money.
$16 million in revenue.
And I could understand a 9 or a 9.5 very easily, because I think maybe possibly a part of a perfect score is longevity and cultural impact. An impact on other filmmakers, but I think I'm just gonna bite the bullet and give it a 10. Yeah.
I also love this film incredibly, and I thought it was perfect in every regards, and that you can't strip something away. There was nothing in it that was unneeded or unwarranted. There was no fat in this film. Everybody felt like, it just felt like all the visual aspects were perfect. All the sound elements were perfect. All just like the conceptual ideas of it. I felt like this is a world I really got. Yeah. I feel like I could hang out in that world for a while, enjoy the madness, and or at least
be a fly on the wall or something.
And then maybe I can become some sort of crab that will reside on the shore, and I'm then murdered. I'm forked by Willem Dafoe and turned into a meal, and then I come back as their feces in their septic tank, and I poison them or something. I don't know. This is a world that I really loved. I loved how grimy it was. I loved how sinister it was. I loved the horror. This was horror. This is a horror film, and like the most. It's in its most original sense to me. That's how I see this. It's tapping into something far more traditional and classical. Yes. I think when Brodie was talking about an instant classic, that bangs the head on the nail for me. I give this a 10.
So I agree. I love this film. It's a great film.
I love this film like I love Oscar Isaac.
It reminds me of Oscar Isaac, actually.
That perfect, huh?
Yeah, so good. Actually, no, I'll go on with it. I loved everything about it. I couldn't really fault anything. You explaining the siren and the mermaid and the connection with the whaling actually made a lot of sense to me, and that was one of the aspects that for me I disliked. So once that was taken out, it's like, all right, everything's good. The screenplay was good, the acting, And yeah, I think I'm the opposite to you. My first viewing, I was actually not as into it because the cinema, they weren't as immersed. And then,
see, our cinema was really into it.
And
ours was a sort of, early screening.
It was a preview.
I had to watch it a bit.
That's why
so the people there were all excited.
Yeah. So for me, everybody was sitting and watching it like it was just an art film. So when there were jokes and whatnot, I was like, ha ha! And everybody else is like, dude, this is tense.
This is serious. William Dafoe just farted.
This is art. But I love a movie with the deep myth and those kind of connections. And I give it a 9.5. 9.5. Yeah, I'll settle on that.
Daddy! Let Neptune strike ye dead, Winslow!
All right, have it your way.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Like, subscribe, comment. We love you all. Lighthouse, favorite film of the year, best film of the decade. Let's go.
Screw this, I'm out. I'm gonna wash my beard. Yeah, like it's fresh in my mind. He says, I completely made the name up. And he's just like, oh, that's weird.
Wow, there is no chance Willem Dafoe in this movie goes,
That's weird.
Oh, but that's weird. Like, he's not...